So one from a comment on YouTube, and thank you to Suresh for the question. Can you please translate how a project manager's responsibilities translate into, I apologize, I can't remember the rest of it, the world of Agile, into Scrum or into the Scrum team? I'm sure I wouldn't be doing this otherwise. So very often when we think about the role of a project manager, we're breaking it down into 6 key areas. And let's see if I can remember those. We've got planning, we've got cost management. I started at number 2, that's not very good with my fingers. So we've got planning, we've got cost management, we've got risk management, quality management. We've got scope. And we've got another one that escapes me. I know there's 6, but I can never remember them. So how do they, get taken from the project manager and broken across the Scrum team? Well, let's look at planning. Okay, traditionally, a project manager has sat down and they've worked out what needs to be delivered and what the right order is, and very often who is going to do it. So they are planning the work. Okay. In the complex world where we already accept that actually no one person can work out that answer, that's very much a complicating, in fact, into the simple domain of work. In the complex world, we're going to have to learn, we're going to have to adapt, we're going to have to experiment. Okay? Nobody but the people doing the job are really qualified for a conversation about how to do it. So at the detail level, we need to take that work off the project manager, okay, and give it to the developers. How do you intend to do this? How long will it take? Because only they know the answers, in truth. It doesn't matter how experienced you are as a project manager. Your experience doesn't matter because nobody solved this problem before. The developers are going to have some ideas. You, of course, with your experience will also have some ideas, but you're precisely one person and you're not the expert in the doing. And if you are the expert in doing, congratulations, you're a developer. So at that detail level, we're actually allowing developers into the conversation. They are deciding what comes into a sprint. Okay? Bigger picture, the product owner is owning the order of the product backlog. So they are deciding, or they are setting the constraints for what is going to be done and when it's going to be done. So project managers don't need to worry about the planning, okay? Because big picture product owner, little picture developers, it's in hand, and it's in better hands than the project manager in our world. Okay. Quality management, great. Let's have a think about that. Who's responsible for quality? Okay, well, the developers. Technical quality, they are responsible for building a product that is fit for purpose, that meets the organizational standards and, of course, the standards that are required for a great product. But there's different types of quality. Product quality. Well, your product owner is thinking about, are we building the right product? Is this satisfying the need? Okay, could we be chasing something more fruitful elsewhere that's higher value? So they're worrying about that. And the Scrum Master is thinking about process quality. Can we work in a better way? How do we do this? They're helping the team to craft their own process to be better at their job. So again, the project manager doesn't need to be there. Cost management, that was the one that I forgot. So let's do that now. Costing. Okay, traditionally, project managers sat there and they've worked out and you can spend this much on this and you can do that and that will cost this, and they collate it all together in a wonderful spreadsheet and communicate it however your organization does it. Okay, that's good work. We need to do that. Well, who's going to be doing that? Well, a product owner is going to be thinking about that. If they are responsible for the product, okay, they are going to be ultimately responsible for the outcome that they deliver. So they're responsible for spending the money wisely. Which features do we go after next? We have a team. They obviously cost money. But the developers come in as well. There are ways to solve problems. There are myriad ways. Which one's the most cost effective? Which is cheap? Do we want cheap and easy, or do we want the really expensive, beautiful version that, of course, the developers want to use because it's on shiny new kit? They have that conversation. It's ongoing within the team. And, of course, the Scrum Master's there on the sidelines, making sure this is all working and paying attention to things like costings as well. So that was planning. That was quality. That was cost. I still started at number 2. Risks. Okay, well, traditionally, a project manager has sat down and from their experience pulled together a huge load of risks. They've gone and talked to everybody within the teams to uncover anything else. Okay, nothing wrong with that. That's a good thing, understanding the risk. And then they manage it often through a RAID log, which, anyway. So what are we going to do instead? Well, we need to talk about risk, right? We need to raise them. So we've got a bunch of people who know that, because the project manager has traditionally relied on a combination of their experience and the experience and expertise of the people within the teams. Well, their project management experience is very similar to most other people's project experience. So we've got that experience, we've got that knowledge very often within the teams already. So we're going to raise those things. They're going to be managed through the product backlog. So the product owner is taking a key role in managing of risk, because it's going to be ordered against all the other stuff that needs to be considered. Okay. They're looking at product risk. Are we building the right thing? Could we be building it in a different way? Could we be going after a different customer base? Do people care about this stuff? All of these are risks to the success of our product that product owner is thinking about daily. Developers, process risks. Technical risks. Do we know how to do this? Is it possible? All these things. So they're doing research, they're doing work into understanding the risk from a technical perspective. And good old Scrum Master is sat there thinking about the process risk. How is our process getting in our way? Is there anything coming down the pipeline in the organizational risk world? Now, I've got my ear to the ground and I can see this is coming. This policy change is going to have a material impact on us. We need to bring that into the team so that we can have a discussion. So once again, the project manager is sat on the sidelines. Scope management, stakeholder management. We can keep doing this time and time again. Stakeholder management being a great example. Traditionally, a project manager has collated all that data and gone out and managed stakeholder expectations. Very, very important part of working in large organizations, keeping the customers happy, the sponsors happy, and the great and the good who somehow and some way are involved, communicating. Awesome, we should do that. So who's going to be doing that? Well, if it's about what the product is and where it's going to go, why wouldn't that be the product owner, the person making those decisions? The person who, if those stakeholders disagree, is the one who's going to act on the information. So they're going to be in that conversation, actively managing stakeholders' expectations and taking their feedback in to update backlogs, to update roadmaps, to update teams' understanding. Okay, the developers are going to be involved in managing the stakeholders. They're going to be in conversations with them about what is and isn't possible, right? Because they're the right people to talk about the technical realities. Right? It's not as full a job as maybe the product owner, but they have a part to play, as does the Scrum Master, helping people understand how to interface into the team, how we work with these Scrum teams if they're new to the organization. So it doesn't matter which aspect of a project manager's role we take. There's a very good reason that we push that work into the Scrum team. They are invariably better placed in the complex product development space, the complex problem solving space, than the traditional project manager. Okay? Not because that PM is a bad person or doing a bad job. They're not. They're always, every single one that I've worked with, trying to do a good job, often in the face of serious adversity from the organization, from the teams, they're trying to get their job done. It's the wrong skill set. Okay? And on top of that, for a project manager to get their information to do this work, they need to interfere in the work of that Scrum team. They need to ask questions. They need to disrupt people and therefore slow them down. So rather than have a project manager involved in Scrum, what I would say is, if you have a well-functioning Scrum team, if those three roles are well represented, you don't need a project manager. If they're not, there might be a place for a project manager in helping to teach the team those skills. So they may appear as the product owner. They may appear as the Scrum Master. They may appear as a mentor alongside the team for a short period of time. That is all fine. But what we don't want is them sitting in that traditional project manager role where they're going to cause disruption and context switching within the team. If you've got to this point in the video, I hope you've enjoyed it. If so, a like would be appreciated. If you want to hear more from me, more answers to questions that maybe you've got in the Agile world, please subscribe to the channel. And if you've got a question that you really want answered, drop it in the comments. I promise we'll get around to it. Thank you.